calls. Now, the time is 7:43. Those of us with elderly relatives often watch out for a tiny sign that might show that they've got the beginnings of a medical problem and need to see a doctor. But few of us really are experts. We're not able to tell exactly what we should be looking for. Then could artificial intelligence help? Could it step in and save the day? A number of NHS hospitals are experimenting with a company called MySense. Lucy Glenda is their chief executive. Good morning, Lucy.
Good morning.
So this is artificial intelligence to be used in the home to prevent someone having to go into hospital by catching a problem early.
Yes, absolutely. So our platform ingests a whole load of data from around the home through the use of very discrete passive sensors. And that allows us to build almost a 4D picture of the individual, understand their behaviours, understand some of the challenges that they might be experiencing. And then we can get ahead of the problem by looking at the factors that might have caused it.
Give us an example of a unique passive sense. How does this work in reality, for example?
So the little sensors get placed around the home. So, for example, there's one on the fridge, there's one on the front door, there's one on the bathroom door, and these little sensors just pick up the movement around the home. But what's unique about MySense is the fact that we overlay a whole load of health metrics on top. So you're able to see the implications of someone getting out of their chair, for example, because you're tracking the heart rate and you're tracking the gait and the movement after that as well. So we can pinpoint with some level of accuracy how difficult that transition from sitting to standing is. And likewise, overnight, we can get into the detail of understanding the sleep pattern. We can analyse that sleep pattern, see what the problem is before you go to sleep, and then be able to sort of push that back into insights into the individual.
And are you able to highlight specific medical issues by using some of that data? Sort of if you were to paint an example to us of how it might work in reality.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the power of MySense right now is that we give the clinicians all of the tools to be able to intervene and to take a look at those specifics. So, for example, a clinician looking at MySense would be able to pick up something like UTI. They might be able to pick up the early signs of dementia, for example. They might be able to pick up a whole series of things. What the system doesn't do right now is give that clinical, I suppose, diagnosis, but it will do in the future. I think right now it's very much working with the clinical teams on the ground, building those pathways out, looking at how the system can support them, and giving them the tools to get to that diagnosis as quickly as possible.
Some patients might be worried that this sounds intrusive. There are a number of sensors over the home. Do you think patients are going to be happy to sign up?
Well, I think one of the first things that we set out to do was to look at a system that was, very ethical in terms of its data use. So we don't own the data. We can never share the data. It's purely down to the individual who's being monitored. That's their data. The second part of it is that we don't listen and we don't watch either. So there's no film, there's no audio. We're not listening into people's conversations. It's entirely passive. So I would sort of push out, and I think if you take a look at the customers that use the system, to begin with, it's a little intimidating, but actually because it's completely passive, it just blends into the background, and that's the brilliance of it.
It's a look into the future, isn't it? I'm sure. Lucy Glenda, thank you. Thank you so much, Chief Executive of MySense.
2023 feels like the year when AI, artificial intelligence, reaches normal people's lives.
Well, I think it already has, isn't it?
But on a day-to-day, things like ChatGPT that are now being kind of commonly used business to business, but also people just to, Google their neighborhood, search their neighborhood and get a chatty response back. It just seems like a year ago, the average Joe Blogs was not using AI, but actually now...
Well, not aware that they were using AI.
They were using it. but now they are.
Yes.
Coming up, we'll discuss the impact of the political hiatus in Northern Ireland, and we'll hear the stories of people whose insurance premiums have soared for apparently no reason. This is Kate Borsay and Rick Kelsey with Times Radio Breakfast in association with Inspiring Travel, the experts in personalised luxury holidays. You can find out more at inspiringtravel.co.uk.
We all want to eat food that tastes great and is sourced responsibly. But it's not always easy to know where your food favourites come from. McDonald's works with more than 23,000 British and Irish farmers to help them produce quality ingredients in a more sustainable way that creates positive changes across the industry. Pippa Fry and Will Tizard are dairy farmers from Dorset who provide organic milk for McDonald's.
We've been working with McDonald's for the last 10 years. We are their dairy flagship farm. We've got strict standards of hygiene, animal welfare and general biodiversity in what we do on farm.
We're really focused on our soil health and our biodiversity, and that's a big focus of our business, and that ties into sustainability. So sustainability isn't just about sort of making sure your business is economically stable, but also environmentally stable. So we're farming in partnership with the environment, and being a McDonald's flagship farmer, part of what we want to do is trial new research, trial new techniques. We've recently entered into the Carbon Net Zero project with McDonald's, which is something we're really looking forward to focusing on and seeing how we can make improvements to our carbon footprint through that. McDonald's is actually one of the biggest purchasers of organic milk globally, and we really value the support that McDonald's give to us as a farm and as a business. And that's one of the brilliant things about working with companies like McDonald's, which are so focused on that sustainability.
Change a little, change a lot. Find out more on McDonald's Plan for Change from the McDonald's website.
This is Times Radio Breakfast.
Welcome back. 10 minutes to 8 o'clock this morning. When Boris Johnson put his oven-ready Brexit deal in the microwave, there was a bit of the chicken that didn't cook properly. A big lump of gristle called the Northern Ireland Protocol. Well, Rishi Sunak has a new improved recipe. It's much needed, as Northern Ireland hasn't had a working government for months, all because of arguments over trade. Kate Nicholl is a member of the Alliance Party of Northern Ireland and former Mayor of Belfast and joins us now. Good morning, Kate.
Good morning.
Are we on the verge of a solution?
Well, it feels like it. It's apparent that we're moving towards a deal. The Prime Minister was in Belfast yesterday and met with the parties, and we're not privy to the detail yet, so it's hard to know exactly where we are, but it does definitely feel like we're in the final stages, and we're all really hopeful that this is going to help us get the Assembly back up and running, because we need devolution.
Well, the DUP have got a very clear issue, haven't they? You can't have politicians in courts in the EU deciding what happens in Northern Ireland, they say. They say that's not democratic. How do you stand on the issue?
Yeah, I mean, the ECJ is an interesting one. It actually wasn't something the DUP had mentioned until the ERG did. We're fairly pragmatic about this. It's really important that we maintain dual market access in Northern Ireland, and that's going to entail that we abide by some EU laws of some sort. So the ECJ would be the final arbiter in our minds, but we're open to other means if they can be found. It's really important that we protect our place within the single market, but also that we protect our place within the UK market. And we just need to see the softening of the bureaucracy, really, in the checks. I mean, a hard Brexit entailed some checks somewhere. And so we're hoping that whatever the deal is come to is going to minimise the bureaucracy, but still protect our place both in the UK and single market.
OK, because that's still a controversy, isn't it? Including for Conservative backbenchers on this side of the water, the role of the European Court of Justice in these talks and how much interference they could possibly play in affairs between the UK and Ireland. Does it bother you that you might have to be a rule taker in that way from the EU?
I mean, no, because most of what will be done will be within our courts anyway. I suppose for us, it could be the opposite in which it could protect us down the line as well, you know. So it's really not our focus. We understand that the focus is with the Conservative Party. For most parties in Northern Ireland, we are protocol pragmatists. You have to understand that a hard Brexit entailed a border of some sort somewhere. That was always going to be the reality. And Northern Ireland is different. We have always operated differently on a north, south, east, west basis. Our interdependence and shared relationships are so important. I think one of the biggest stumbling blocks in all the work that's been going on around the protocol, and we've been at this for 7 years, has been the breakdown in trust and relationships. And there definitely seems to be a change in that now, and that is to be really welcomed. Because when you look at the Good Friday Agreement and any difficult solution that was found, 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 solution